Hello, and welcome back to the next episode in our Pillars of Eternity campaign, playing as Kasemir the Cipher. We're picking up from where we left off in the last episode, which places us here on the lower levels of the Brackenbury Sanitarium, where we've just unlocked access to the patient ward. So we're going to go explore that area shortly, see what it has in store for us. I'm sure it's not going to be pretty, given the description of the quest that we're doing, calling this place one of misery and madness. But yeah, we'll see what we can find out. Hopefully we can find this leaden key agent, or otherwise get some clues that will point us in the right direction. So, just by way of recap, the quest that we're on at the moment is The Man Who Waits. The leaden key acolyte showed me a vision of an agent in a place of misery and madness. I need to find this agent and discover his or her plan to see if it holds any clues to finding the man I'm searching for. And our current objective is to interview Graham in the North Ward. Azo's own records showed that he sometimes forced patients to undergo experiments even when they were unwilling. One patient from the North Ward, Graham, was a frequent test subject. Graham may be able to shed light on whether Azo has been working with the leaden key. So Cardman Azo, one of the animancers here in the Brackenbury Sanitarium, and indeed the animancer who is responsible for the welfare of the patients in the ward, has evidently been conducting his own experiments without the approval of the head warden, Ethelmoa. Ethelmoa being the statue upstairs. But Carbonazzo has been doing this anyway, and so he's a prime suspect to be a leaden key agent as far as I'm concerned, but we will go and speak to him first, see if we can get a sense of the man, as we've not spoken to him yet. We've only read his notes and spoken to his understudy. And then we will also go and interview Graham in the North Ward, and hopefully by doing that we can figure out where this leaden key agent is. So let's press on and see what kind of patients are kept here in the patient ward. A flesh construct. I do not like the look of that. The construct turns its head toward you and watches warily. That is creepy. No, speak. Very creepy. And more sanitarium guards. If you're here as a client, you'll want to be talking to an animancer, not me. The construct stares at you through lidless eyes. These things look terrifying. They look to be made of like body parts or something, and then infused with soul essence. This one's evidently in some kind of pain. Move. Alright, let's speak to Frail. A curved spine twists this woman's posture forward, her greasy hair draped over her large eyes like vines. She smiles at you. You must be visiting someone. Then, noting your appearance, she adds, a friendly visit, I hope. Do you know where I might find Azo? I think I've seen him around today. Have you checked the laboratory? It shares a wall with his office. He's been spending most of his time there lately. Okay. What do you know about the animancer, Cardman Azo? Oh, I like him very much. Many animancers could care less about their patients. Look at us like vermin for their experiments. But Master Azo treats us like humans, even the very sick. You can tell he does this to help people. He's helped me understand a great deal about myself, and I know he's done the same for others. It's too bad what they did to him. He hides it well, but I know he's still affected by it. What do you mean? What happened to Azo? Frail's eyes dart back and forth, and her voice lowers to just above a whisper. They don't like to talk about it, but there was an accident. He was said to be one of the brightest in Deerwood. That was his reputation here, and that was what brought me to seek treatment. People say it was ego that drove him to try and solve the legacy, but that's hogwash, even if he was a bit of a showman. He loves his homeland. He thought he could help. He wasn't one to speak of his work. Suspected his colleagues might have tried to steal it. But he told me once that he had figured out a way to create a soul. Not a soul exactly, mind you. How did he put it? A proxy, I think he called it. Had some machine that drew energy out of the very ether. Can you imagine?
The point is, it was going to help with the legacy. It was going to make Hollowborn into something easier to love and care for. Gods no, that's something we need. Do you know what they call those empty little babies in Ondra's gift?
No. Tell me.
They call them boys, because so many of them are found floating face down in the water. These are mad times.
Also, as a side note, I've used the American pronunciation for that, but in Australia and in the UK, we just say boys. We don't say bowies.
Anyway, Master Azo had scheduled a public demonstration of his work in Copper Lane. He was so excited. And then, the next day, he was locked in his office, turning away visitors, I heard, and he stopped seeing patients. I don't know exactly what happened, and I don't have the heart to ask him, but I'm glad they're letting him treat people again.
Have any of the patients here been acting unusually?
Well, there's Batixa, who relives a murder she committed more than 5 lifetimes ago. Idelman, who they say only has half a soul, and who was found collecting the faces of others because he believed his own to be a false one. Graham, he speaks in a language no one understands, and wails at night sometimes.
Different from their normal behavior, I mean.
Well, yes, I suppose, but nothing they didn't volunteer for. Master Azo let us know that a number of patients in the North Ward had volunteered for a new therapy and would be escorted to his laboratory to receive treatment. The North Ward has our most troubled cases. I'm glad some of them have chosen to get help. It seems to me it's gotten quieter over there since it started. It's Graham I see them taking in the most. He struggles, but he always was a bit of a wild one.
Would I be able to visit the North Ward?
They like to keep them separate. I don't know that I've ever seen the guards allow a visitor. Just Master Azo. You might ask him. He's very sympathetic.
Okay. And why are you in here? Behind her hair, her cheeks flush.
I don't want to say. You'll think less of me.
I wouldn't worry about that.
These last few years haven't been kind to me. They haven't been kind to anyone, really. I try not to think of it as personal. I lost my husband and both boys in the Saints' War. My daughter, the legacy took her before she was ever mine. I made do. What else can you do? I moved into a tiny place in Ondra's gift. Got by mending clothes and on the kindness of strangers when I had to. But I was surviving, and the gods were watching over me. I could live with that. Then one day, this noblewoman comes in, wants this fancy gown fixed. Gorgeous thing. This shade of blue I'd never seen before. Only I had. I looked at it, and it reminded me of something. I had what they call an awakening. I remembered being a noblewoman myself in another life. People doting over me, men doting over me, the best food, the most beautiful home, all the things you'd never dare to dream of, they were mine. It was poison, knowing that. All those things I had that I'll never have in this life. It did something to me. My food started to taste rotten. The walls in my little room seemed to close in around me. I stopped being able to sleep in my own bed. So I came here. It was that, or break into an estate and start ordering servants around. It seems like such a silly thing to worry about. You don't have to tell me. But I can't get past it, and I start to wonder, did the gods choose this life for me? And if so, what terrible thing must I have done to deserve it?
Well, yeah, I mean, you had it right before. There's nothing to do but live with it. I don't think the gods took offense to your overindulgence, and I don't know about this one either, but it is what it is.
That's what's kept me going. But it hasn't gotten easier, and it's just too bad.
Alright, well, farewell. That's sad, actually.
How
Anything
do
else
you
to
do?
say?
You found what you're looking for yet?
No, I haven't, but thank you. Alright. Ooh, those things are creepy. What do the patients have to say? Master Azo said he'd make me better soon. I've been hearing screams in the night.
Be cautious. Be constant.
Some grain, sure. The children they keep down here, pure evil in their eyes. They said I can't leave.
Nice and slow.
Yet. Oh, said I can't leave yet. Okay. Crooked chalk tally marks cover the surface of this table. The crooked boards show deep gouge marks. They're spaced like folk or elven fingernails.
Light, flame, and sound. We'll keep to ourselves.
I don't like this place. Yeah, me neither. It's creepy, I have to say. And these flesh constructs don't make it any less creepy. Ugh.
Light, flame, and sound. We'll keep to ourselves.
Some lockpicks, alright.
Slowly now.
Just stealthing around in case there's
Keeping quiet.
anything hidden to spot. Got some gold, some more copper, and a book. Okay, nothing else in there. Door looks closed. Keep your distance. White's in that cell back there. We've had incidents when people got close. I only warn once. After that, it's your skin.
Right.
I'm on duty. You want to be friendly? Buy me an ale.
Keeping an eye out.
Alright, well, it looks like getting close doesn't do anything. But okay. White's in the cell.
And what does the flame reveal?
Move. No visitors.
Okay. That must go to the North Ward.
North Ward restricted.
Yep. So we'll need a key to get in there, so we'll definitely have to speak to Cardman Azo.
Keeping quiet.
Oh, this place is creepy. Master Azo said he'd make me better soon.
Light, flame, and sound.
Did he?
Found something.
Oh, found something.
We'll keep to ourselves.
Where's that black sun? Okay.
Eyes open.
I've been hearing screams in the night.
Keeping an eye out.
Slowly now.
It doesn't look like there's anything in any of these cells. Check this one.
Nice and
The
slow.
last one. No. Okay.
And what does the flame reveal?
So, I guess we'll go in here. Which looks like, yeah, Cardman Azo's laboratory. Something churns and bubbles in this tank. The copper wires and conduits are shiny. The device is warm to the touch. What do we have in here?
Finished.
Ravenwing. A unique mace. 16 to 23 crush damage, 3 DR bypass, plus 4 accuracy when attacking the same target, and plus 25% damage. Nice. And damaging 3, 45% damage and 4 accuracy. Not bad at all. Legend tells of a druid, wise and powerful, who travelled accompanied by a flock of ravens. In battle, the druid would assail his enemies with his mace, while the ravens descended in a chaotic swarm, distracting and flanking his foes. Years of coordinated attacks and the druid's lingering magic are said to have gifted his mace with an enchantment that lends the wielder similar gifts. The mace is finely wrought and lightweight, making it maneuverable, if not very resistant against direct attacks. Against a distracted opponent, however, a single blow often proves quite sufficient. Not bad. Not bad. And we could even upgrade it to exceptional, which would reduce its damage but increase its accuracy. The only other way to get that is superb. And we'll just leave it. We will take it though, of course. I'm thinking maybe Haravius can use that.
Margaren's fire casts light in dark places.
I'll get it open.
Locked chest.
Finished.
Oh, another unique item. Played Golan. Unique light armor. Halves your stun and knockdown duration and gives you plus 50 defense while stunned and prone. Blade Golan, Wolfheart, is said to have been blessed by the Lord of the Hunt himself. A human hunter, showing skill with a bow and arrow beyond any before seen, caught Galawain's attention one day. Galawain proposed a bargain. If the hunter could best him in a hunting contest, Galawain would present her with armor that would bestow upon her the power of a wolf. For a week, both hunters tracked their respective quarry through the woods, and when the contest was ended, the hunter had felled the most game. True to his word, Galawain presented her with Wolfheart, which gave her the crafty and evasive nature of its namesake. Nice. Again, we'll just take that. The copper wires and conduits are shiny, the device is warm to the touch, and something churns and bubbles in this tank. Okay.
Keeping an eye out.
Anything hidden back here? No, it doesn't look like it. Alright. Let's get into some kind of position. I don't know if we're going to get attacked here or not. A round-faced, balding man turns to face you. His upper lip is pulled upwards slightly by his pointed nose, exposing his upper teeth when he scowls.
What is the meaning of this?
I'm looking for an expert on awakenings.
I don't have time to give you directions. Go bother somebody else.
Alright. Are you the Animancer who's been buying relics from Immatul?
Are you trying to discredit me? Go dig elsewhere.
Okay, well that ended that conversation.
What is it now?
I'd like access to the North Ward.
Out of the question. Those patients are in isolation for a reason.
I've seen your records, I know what you're doing with them. So you can coerce them into your experiments. Frail told me everything. I've been given permission. Or, no, I'll go with perception. Your forehead seems damp all of a sudden. Perhaps I should discuss your insubordination with the head warden.
You smug cretin. How dare you come down here and meddle? You have no idea the importance of my research.
He balls up his fist and digs his teeth into his index finger, a growl simmering beneath his breath and a deep scowl compressing his face.
Fine. Speak to them for all the good it'll do you. I'm sure the discussions will be fascinating.
He pulls a heavy key from one of his pockets and nearly slams it down on the floor before handing it to you. Okay. Now, Ethelmoa told me you're not supposed to be doing any more experiments.
Yes, well, Ethelmoa hasn't done much good for anybody since he had his soul moved into an inanimate object, so I fail to see why I should let that sway me. If Animancers all followed the commands of their leaders, where would we be? We'd all be as backward and willfully ignorant as Red Ceres. We would know nothing about life or death or even ourselves. We would be lost in the dark with no clue as to why. Animancers must push the boundaries of knowledge, but you must be careful, Azor. Even Defiance Bay isn't as safe for research as it once was.
Seems to me we're still in the dark. No, you toy with things beyond our comprehension. It's dangerous and foolish. Then again, nothing ventured, nothing gained. Seems to me we're still in the dark, but I guess that's why you're doing experiments. You're right, there are certain questions that have to be asked. I have no interest in arguing about this. Surely there are other paths that don't involve risking lives. I don't know if that's true. No, there are certain questions that have to be asked. I mean, it's beyond our comprehension, but it's never going to be within our comprehension if you do nothing. And yeah, maybe there are other paths that don't involve risking lives, but I struggle to think that would be true, given the nature of what animancers do, right? In researching souls of creatures. Creatures are typically living, so... I have no interest in arguing about this. No, I think you're right about that much. There are certain questions that have to be asked, but, you know, It's not as simple as that.
Precisely. I am down here defying my masters because there is good I can do here. And I will not let a bureaucracy stand in the way of that.
Yeah, but then again, I don't agree with you experimenting on people against their will.
Who will solve Widewen's legacy? Some church? Some warrior? It will be an animancer, or it will be no one at all.
Have you tried your experiments on any other subjects?
I have, yes. No point in lying about it, now that Ethelmo is involved.
I asked for volunteers from our patients, and a few brave souls came forward. I was very close at one time to a breakthrough. They understood that. They understood their sacrifices would mean something. Okay. I heard you were demoted. How did it happen? Azo's nostrils flare, and he bares his upper teeth more broadly.
That's none of your concern. Did one of the others put you up to this? Audma, that smug weasel. Things went wrong. Everything. I don't know how. I'll never know.
He spits on the floor, as if to remove a bitter taste from his mouth. Okay, farewell. Azo?
What is it now?
Nothing. Alright, so, where are we at? Freyol mentioned that Cardman Azo is the only one with access to the North Ward, and we've received a key from him, but he wasn't pleased to give it. Yeah, alright. Let's speak to Freyol again, just quickly.
How do you do?
Nothing from you. Alright, well, into the North Ward we go. Is it still restricted? No. You're not going to stop us. What do we have in here?
Is this my face? Tell me.
That must be Issel, whatever his name was. Idelman.
This is not my face. I don't look like this. Whose face is this? You! That's my face! Why do you have my face? Is this my face? Tell me.
Okay. So that's Idelman. He's a nutter. Thundering sky, rain of blood, innocence must drown. That's Batixa. The flames must be fed. Watch them rise.
Too much silence. Too much!
Okay. Who do we have here? This man has the look in his eyes of a hunted animal, and at your approach, he staggers backward to the far corner of his cell, halfway appearing as though he would climb the walls if it would get him farther away from you. He cries out, a bizarre, primal utterance like nothing you have heard. You can't hide from me, Leaden Key Spy. Alright, I need to ask you some questions. Graham looks at you blankly. It is unclear whether he understands you or not, but his panic has momentarily subsided. He opens his mouth to speak, but the words that come out are half-formed, as though his tongue were cut out. They are impossible for you to discern, if indeed they are words at all. Aloth makes a noise of disgust.
Those animancers did this to him. You can see what comes of their meddling.
That's kind of a loaded question. Freyol said you were being treated by Cardman Azo. He looks at you with uncertainty. Slowly, tentatively, he steps closer to the front of his cell, and as he does so, for the first time you can perceive his soul within your ken. It is misshapen, as though maimed by some jagged instrument, and large expanses of it have been gouged out entirely. You feel no barriers of resistance. If you wanted to, you could look further into Graham's soul. Let's leave him be for the moment. let's ask him this. You're afraid. Do certain visitors make you afraid? He looks at us nervously. Okay. I think that's... okay, that's all we have to do. Alright, let's peer into Graham's soul. You project out toward the maimed soul in front of you, merging with it, its confusion and fear becoming yours as it whisks you into its depths. You're in your cell. A key turns. The door creaks open on neglected hinges. Thoughts come to you in waves. Incomplete. Broken. Fearful. Standing at the door is a rotund, balding man. His upper teeth and pointy nose remind you of a rat. He beckons, apologetic. You don't want to go. Anything else. In your mind is a single word, and the word is no. But it dissolves before it reaches your lips. You press against the back wall, cornered. You cry out. In darkness, you fight against unseen restraints. You cannot move your arms or legs. The man walks into the room carrying a lit candle, its meager flame casting long shadows across books and machinery. Straps bind your arms and legs. Cold metal circumscribes the crown of your head and the breadth of your chest. The man is sorry. He is in need of raw materials. They dismantled his work and he needs another source. He needs to show them he was right. He thanks you. Then he turns a knob, and you feel yourself begin to crack from within, and you can feel pieces of you torn away, like having your insides chewed by a horde of rats, and you are screaming a scream you can barely hear. Another night, heavy footsteps outside your door, coming for you. You look through a slit in your door, the flesh giant, the artificial being just outside, but facing left, facing the end of the hall. The boy there. The boy looks with interest at the giant, then collapses to the floor like a shed snakeskin. The giant convulses for a moment, then rights itself, turns away, and leaves. Interesting. It's decoupled from Graham's soul. Graham looks at you, still wild-eyed, but somehow more present. He nods at you, then walks back to the end of his cell. As you regain awareness of what's happening around you, you realize that your head is in Palagina's feathered hands, her golden eyes are peering into your own, as though she is trying to catch a glimpse of activity lurking in the depths. As she sees your eyes respond, she wobbles your head a little and gives you a light slap. Letting go and stepping back, she regards you with concern. Everything going all right in there? Yes, just fine, Palagina.
Following your lead,
Connor?
these poor people.
Oh,
This isn't the treatment that they were promised upstairs by the cushioned seats and lush carpets.
I agree, Connor.
Is that the cure for soul sickness? To be thrown into a cell and subjected to the whims of your captor?
Well, maybe it is. How would you know? Connor winces. I have seen the sick and the mad exiled, or else treated like contagious vermin, but I cannot believe that this is the kindest alternative. But if all were treated like this, the sanitarium would never survive. What did these patients do to warrant such conditions? Yeah, here's the source of all that knowledge you were so giddy about. There are just as many who came here and are cured of their ills, people who would otherwise be cast aside. No, here's the source of all that knowledge that you were so giddy about. Kana grimaces. It is one thing to be told as much, another to see it for yourself. Let's be on our way. This place gnaws at the soul.
Yes?
Indeed. But I did want
Yes,
to
my
talk
friend?
to you. Do you know anything about this place? No, he's just commenting on the district. Does
I'm
anyone
ready.
else have comments?
Need something?
No.
What?
Terrence? No.
How may I help?
Okay. Alright. Oh, and a dare.
What's on your mind?
Nothing is on my mind. Graham stares at the floor in some half-conscious state. Poor Graham. Sounds like he's had his soul ripped apart by Azo.
And what does the flame reveal?
Alright, so this must have been the room that... Yeah, speak to the patient at the end of the hall. A look into the soul of a half-crazed patient named Graham revealed strange behavior by a boy at the far end of the North Ward. Okay. Let's speak to him.
How may I help?
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Following your lead.
Yes?
Setting up the party for a party. A willowy adolescent boy stands in the center of his cell, gawkish and stoop-shouldered. He stares straight ahead, the occasional blink his only movement, and it is unclear whether he registers your presence at all behind his glassy, doll-like eyes. In this state, the barriers between your soul and his are thin and porous, easily bypassed if you should wish it. Alright, let's reach out for his soul. You close your eyes and edge forward towards the boy's soul, and as you near, a sudden malaise comes over you. You are cold and warm all at once, sweating and shivering and straining for breath as you did on the caravan journey. The soul you approach is the wrong one, a parasitic plant that strangles its host. It is predatory and pitiless, and you have crossed paths with it before. Too late does it occur to you to retract, and already you feel yourself plunging into some interminable abyss of thought and memory. You are standing in a cell now, the same cell in the sanitarium. The halls are moonlit and empty, and you are waiting. At the far end of the ward, the door opens, revealing a flesh golem in silhouette beneath the stone archway. It makes its usual rounds, the same stops every time, the misbegotten child of despondent creators. When the construct is close, you coil yourself up and spring forward, passing out of the boy's body as though it were a membrane. You can sense his body behind you collapsing to the floor, a puppet whose strings are cut. You are rushing toward the golem now, bodiless as a gust of wind. Quickly, you think to yourself, quickly, and you feel the strength hemorrhaging from your soul as you dart towards the makeshift abomination. You pass into the golem shell and overtake the soul implanted within it, encircling it, suppressing it, and contained in this new vessel, you are strong again. You step heavy-footed down corridors unheeded by the other constructs, and scrutinized only by the wary, untrustworthy eyes of the mad, coming at last to an office piled with books and scribbled papers and the perverse implements of animancy. You set your oversized hands upon a large machine, a nest of globes and tubes and coils in the center of the room, and go to work, bending wires and unsettling alignments. Your surroundings are pulled past you, or perhaps you are pulled past them, and they dissolve into a blur. When they settle into place again, you are outside on a clear day, standing in front of a crowd stacked high above you on the tiered seats of an amphitheater. You are acting for the crowd, standing deliberately still, but this is no play. A balding man with rodent-like features is strapping you to a machine, the one you had tampered with. You see your arms for the first time, short and fleshy, unmistakably those of a little girl, but this body is not truly yours. Your mind still holds the same determination, the same hard-heartedness as before. The body itself is cold and vacuous. Unlike the others, this one has no soul of its own. Interesting. That's obviously Cardman Azo's machine that this soul in Uskrim has tampered with while he was in the body of that little girl, who must have been a Hollowborn, or if not, then had its soul taken over. The man speaks, and the crowd applauds with an enthusiasm worthy of a hero's entrance. "Bear witness," he says, and he pulls a lever. I pronounced that weirdly. Lever or lever? I sort of said liver, but anyway. The machine shivers and sparks. and a bead of sweat rolls down the side of the man's brow. But the crowd's apprehension quickly gives way to awe as a crystal globe fills with a radiant mist that casts the entire theater aglow. He opens a valve, and the glow crawls through a tube along a length of copper wiring that runs to a set of electrodes beneath your armpits. You feel nothing when it reaches you, as it should be, for you have been leading his work astray periodically for some time, altering notes and settings, and playing puppeteer for Hollowborn. But you make it look how people would expect it to look when a body is infused with the soul. In a moment, the machine goes dark, and the man unstraps you, eyeing you with a scientist's concern. He looks back up at the crowd. "Behold," he says, but there is obvious hesitation in his voice. Slowly, you take a plodding step forward, and then another, and another. You look up at the man, giving him the eye contact of which no Hollowborn is capable, and the crowd gasps. The man looks relieved. "How do you feel?" he asks at a volume meant for the crowd, and this is the moment. At the top of your lungs, you let out a piercing shriek. The man comes towards you, his hands outstretched, but you run the other way, back to the machine. With all your strength, you drive your head into the crystal globe, and it shatters, streaking your head with warm blood. You drive your head down onto the surface of the machine again and again, drawing panicked screams from the crowd, and by the time the man reaches you, your body has already ceased proper function, and merely twitches on the cold ground. Satisfied, you depart the corpse in search of another unsuspecting host. Who could put their faith in animancy now? You are pulled again from your surroundings, transcending the boundaries of memories and lifetimes, deeper and deeper past betrayals and murders and lies upon lies that form the thick webbing of plots beyond mortal comprehension. You settle at last on a room you have seen before, expansive, with a tall device encasing an Adra monolith at its center. The room is filled with people, and the people all look at the device. You are yanked suddenly back to reality, and the once catatonic boy in the cell is looking directly at you, appraising, calculating. There is no mistaking now that it is the soul of the man who caused your awakening that gazes out from that borrowed husk. A watcher. Not just a watcher. Someone who'll break those frail little legs of yours if you don't do exactly what I tell you. I don't know if I can threaten a man who can move his soul out of any body to any other body. You made me into a watcher, I need you to undo it. I don't think he would undo it, and I wouldn't trust him to undo it. I'll go with the aggressive one, not just a watcher, someone who'll break those frail little legs of yours if you don't do exactly what I tell you. Is that so? He makes no effort to hide his disinterest, but he continues to search your eyes. He makes a slight grunting noise, and his eyes soften for an instant, and it seems for that moment that he recognizes you. He opens his mouth to speak, then seems to think better of what he was about to say. His jaw tightens. I know your look. You hunger. Hunger for answers that elude you. It gnaws at your soul. It usurps your reason for being. You are like everyone. I will help you let go. He dodges backward with startling grace, putting himself out of reach. On his face there is no malice, only the dispassion of a farmer putting down a sick animal. Then, suddenly, he slumps forward. Oh, great. He's taking over the flesh monster. Thought he was going to take over one of our companions for a second there. All the cell doors are open. That's brilliant. That's what you want. That's what you want. Bunch of crazy patients. Oh no, Graham. Not Graham. Alright. We'll do that.
I'm ready.
You can do that.
Aye?
I'll just get you
Following
guys
your
to
lead.
start shooting. And Graham, you're gonna help me out, Graham. I'm gonna get you to start using my words. And I'm also going to, Brilliant. I'm pretty sure Graham is helping me, right? He died. He died pretty quick. How did he die? Durance killed Graham. Ah, with Holy Radiance. I didn't realize that he would be considered a vessel. I guess he must be. Is that the same with, I don't know.
How may I help?
We'll go with this one. Well,
Following your lead.
poor Graham. He had a pretty horrible life.
What?
I'm ready.
You can use that one. Let's kill Batixer, I suppose. And maybe we use the Mind Blades.
Following your lead.
How may I help?
Yeah, the Mind Blades are good enough. Good enough damage. Alright. That's fine. That's fine.
I'm ready.
You can knock him down.
Yes?
Nice. Alright. Salute all of that. Bunch of stuff. So that's not ideal. All the patients are now...
I shall be discreet.
They've gone crazy and they're on the loose. The chains groan with added weight. Crescent bite marks pit the edges of the cot. And that's Uskrim's body. But it doesn't look
Margarin's
like there's
fire
anything
casts light in
useful on it. Let's have a look inside these cells.
I shall be discreet.
Be cautious. Be constant.
Steady does it.
Go back up to this one.
I'll see what I can find.
Guess there's nothing
Let's see what lies this way.
in these cells.
Laying low.
No, nothing there. Oh, what's this? A curse of cold clay added. All across the Eastern Reach, people are being buried in graveyards and returning from the dead as vampires. Examination by locals has revealed that animancers had tampered with several grave sites prior to the burial. Local lords have released bounties for the capture of whoever is responsible. Unfortunately, the rapid spread of the events leads many to believe that a group, not a single individual, is behind the experiments. A remembrance of life's warmth. Alright. Well, let's assign... Yeah, we'll assign Sagani. So she'll be on that for 3 days. We do need to go back to our palace there. Palace.
Let's
Back
see
to
what lies
Cardua,
this way.
our stronghold. But let's take you out first. There, do that.
Ansaru.
That was effective.
The next Boston now.
Let's get you out there now.
What?
And everyone else
Following your lead.
join you.
Yes?
I'm ready.
What?
Yeah.
How may I help?
Let's just make sure the rest of this area is clear. And I'll go check on Cardman Arzo shortly.
Let's go.
Big damage.
That's it!
Any other flesh constructs to kill here?
Let's...
Rails died. It looks like some patients got out.
Dunzonet Bostenago Bats.
These flesh constructs, they're not too tough, thankfully. I guess all the guards died as well. Oh, and all the whites must have gotten out. Let's check down here. There's one more flesh construct.
Let's
I'm ready.
Here, you can
go!
Dunzonet
use that.
Bostenago Bats.
Okay.
Slowly now.
No whites. They must have gotten out? I don't know. Or they all died. Oh, that was pretty easy. If that's the extent of the combat. Hello, Cardman. What have you done? You've been experimenting on patients against their wills, mangling their souls. I have witnessed it with my own eyes. Azo's face drains of what little color it had. How could you possibly? Look, it had to be done. Ethelmoa and the others, they took everything from me. Everything when I was this close. I had to know where I failed and why. Imagine the value if I'd succeeded. I had something that could make all those hollow infants into something like a real person. And with a few more patrons and a few years' research, who knows? No one has come that close with the legacy. It's why I have to continue. Why I have to risk everything here working in secret. It's why you have to lie to Ethelmoa for me. Tell him you've cleared me of all suspicion. We'll see. We'll see.
I trust that you'll do what's right for Deerwood. Don't hold everyone accountable for my mistakes.
It's not Kasemir's judgment you should be worried about, but the mobs. They don't care much about good intentions. True, Pelagina. It'll be some time before things calm down here. Yes, I imagine it would be. That is perplexing, though. I know we killed some patients, but I guess many more must have escaped. It looks like Ripley is gone too. Azo's assistant. Mordred's still here. The head warden must be told what's going on down here. And rest assured he will be. Belisega. You're too busy. I'm getting out of here. It's not safe anymore. Okay, so most of the patients ran. And I guess, I don't know what happened to the whites that were behind that door, supposedly. Maybe there weren't any there after all. Maybe they all died to the guards. And then all the guards left, I don't know. Alright, you don't have any comments. What the blazes happened down there? You were given permission to ask questions. I had things under control until I killed the Leaden Key spy, at which point he possessed a flesh construct. I didn't really kill the Leaden Key spy, per se. As I was being influenced by a patient. This is probably the closest to accurate. You finish your explanation, and Ethelmoa breaks his silence. I have read accounts of people in history who could do what you describe. The accounts are few and brief and never reliable. Some go as far as to suggest that they are all the same person. If truly such a person was here among us, plotting our ruin, would that I had a body again and could be of some real use in our time of need. I fear what the future may hold for this place. I am grateful you were able to dispatch the threat before there was loss of innocent life. We very nearly had another scandal on our hands. What of Azo? What part did his experiments play in this catastrophe? Well, I don't know. His experiments, none of them were valid because the leaden key was mucking with them all. But he wasn't only trying to help the patients. I'll go with this one. The leaden key would have found a way to interfere with the sanitarium even without Azo. Your half answer suggests a bias, but it also suggests it's as close to the truth as I'll get from you. He's pegged me well there. Cardman will remain here, but he will be monitored, and under no circumstances will he have access to any equipment. Okay, yeah, fair enough.
Welcome!
Alright, so that's all we can do for that quest for the moment. So I uncovered a leaden key operative in the sanitarium. He has the ability to possess those with weak souls, and was using one of the patients to influence Cardman Azo's animancy research. So it looks like I have, for now, completed all the objectives of that quest.
Gods keep you.
So very good, let's head outside. That's the Brackenbury Sanitarium taken care of for the moment. What is this?
How do you do?
Beg your pardon, I have a message for you. Dunred Row Messenger. You are summoned to Hadrat House, where Lady Webb wishes to meet with you as soon as possible. And here I thought the locals were exaggerating about Dunred Row. Seems like your names come up in some important meetings. I hope nobody was shouting it at the time. How did you know where to find me? Well, it's Lady Webb. She knows everything. Tell me about Lady Webb. Do you not know Lady Webb? She's, well, no one's seen her, exactly, in a long time, but she is the mistress of Dunred Row. Has been for as long as anyone can remember. He pauses, eyeing passers-by with suspicion. Quietly, he continues, She's supposed to be old, older than anybody, and she never leaves her room. Some say she's wasted away and she's just a pile of bones kept animated by dark magics. She's still at it, best anyone can tell, learning things, keeping us safe, pulling the strings behind the throne too, it's said. Has a ring of ciphers doing her bidding, telling her everything that goes on. You do wrong in this country, before you go asking the gods for forgiveness, best you ask Lady Webb first. What is Dunred Row? A whole mess of ciphers, run out of Hadrat House. They make it their business to keep the peace, but they don't like you to see them do it. Problems in this city have a way of going away on their own, and when that happens, you can make a pretty good guess as to why. And where can I find Hadrat House? It's just over there, my lord. The southwest corner of Brackenbury. You'll find the lady upstairs. Alright, very well.
Well met, friend.
I've been instructed that I'm to answer any questions you might have. Okay, well, I've asked all my questions.
Welcome.
Well, it looks like everything's going on normal here. So, I guess none of the whites or crazy patients got out and caused any damage. So, Hadrat House is over here. Ooh, what's this? Older robed man. As you near the apparition, you are overcome suddenly by a powerful anxiety that sits like a stone in your stomach. The feeling is not quite real. The recollection of an emotion rather than the emotion itself. It wrenches your insides nevertheless. The apparition's brow is tensed, a look of concern plain across its face.
The other missionaries say you have been neglectful of your duties.
They lie.
They speak out of concern for you. Now tell me, is there something to their concerns?
The apparition waves off your defense with its hands. The pain in your stomach deepens, and you feel for a moment as though you are about to be sick. Your mouth has gone dry. Forgive me, Eminence. I wish to leave the order. The man folds his fingers together and presses them to his mouth, thoughtful.
You have been an apt student, and your convictions have inspired those around you. May I ask what has changed to make you feel this way?
My family has not taken my new faith well. You were attacked on my last mission. No, I've done something unforgivable. The apparition exhales slowly, and its lips press together, a sympathetic rapport in its eyes. It places its hand on your shoulder.
I see. And you would cast yourself out, is that it?
What I've done, no god would have me now.
If you believe that, then I have failed you as a teacher. There are many gods so that all people are looked after, no matter who they are or what they've done.
The apparition looks wounded.
The only ones who need fear anything are those who abandon their gods, thinking all is lost. But for those who beg help and forgiveness, the gods always provide.
Only for the deserving.
I will tell you the truth. There may be some among the gods who would see you punished. But after punishment comes absolution, redemption. Whatever stain there is upon your soul, the gods can wash it clean. But you must dedicate yourself to them in return. That is what makes one deserving. Will you return the faith they put in you?
The knot in your stomach seems to loosen all at once, and the anxiety is replaced with something else entirely, something warm and soothing, and it is something you know you can never repay. As the vision fades, you start to become cognizant of the many odd looks aimed in your direction. Your last response echoes in your mind. I will. Ominous. That was the same man we saw, I think, at the, what was it? Silaban Rilag, or whatever it was? Silandlis, rather. On our caravan journey. Seems like a lifetime ago now, but I'm pretty sure that was him. The man who made us a watcher. Alright. So, Hudret House. Lady Webb is upstairs. She rarely deals with anyone personally. Speak to Curran.
Good day, stranger.
Okay, he's got nothing of value to add. Let's head upstairs. Lady Webb will see you now. Very good. So this is Lady Webb. Well, well, well. Wellity, wellity, wellity. Let's just have a look around, see if she's gotten anything hidden away, tucked away.
Yeah.
I would very much like to steal from Lady Webb. That probably is a bad idea.
Yeah,
Can
I'll
unlock
get it
that,
open.
though. That's okay.
Finished.
That's not stealing. No, it's only a fine pipe. The notes are scribbled in a cryptic shorthand. Alright,
How may I help?
let's speak to Lady Webb. This woman clutches a thick stack of parchment with spindly, wrinkled fingers, their flesh stretched thin to near translucence with extreme age, a gossamer veil over pale blue veins. Ink splotches and candle burns dot and stripe her hands like a quilt patterned after some great indescribable truth. She does not look up from her reading.
So, the messenger conveyed my summons. A miracle that would make the reincarnation of Aethys look like a child's cantrip, surely. It doesn't draw the most inspired minds, messaging. They failed me so many times of late, I nearly sent a Cipher after you instead. So this is the Watcher who took over Cad Noir. Oh, don't look so surprised. It isn't an attractive expression. I wouldn't be where I am for long if I let details like that escape me.
She glances up from her readings for the first time and looks you over. This is exactly what I would picture Aloth's mother to be like.
And this fiasco in the sanitarium that you seem to have gotten yourself into the middle of. What in blazes possessed you to stir that nest of trouble?
A personal matter. There's something I need to find.
Not just any someone, though.
Oh,
Someone in the service of the Leaden Key. You're not the only one with an interest in their recent activities. I've lost 4 ciphers this year alone trying to get someone inside their ranks. As it is, we only have our suspicions about who is in the group and what they intend, which I suppose means we have much in common with them. I asked you here because I wanted to know what your interest was in all of this. I thought perhaps we might help each other. Why are you looking for the Leaden Key?
How did you know I was looking for the Leaden Key? So you don't know much about them, but you're also trying to investigate them and infiltrate their ranks. I wanted to know what your interest was in all this. One of their members caused my soul to awaken. Now, I don't know if I trust you with that. I ran across a man in one of the ruins. It's important that I find him again. Yeah, we'll go with this one. I ran across a man in one of the ruins. It's important that I find him again. She closes her eyes, and the lids flicker. Then her face goes still, and her mouth parts, little more than a sliver, and her hand briefly drops open, spilling some of her parchment to the ground, the pages wafting around her legs like the leaves of a dying tree. Her fleshy eyelids peel back, and her gaze is immediately upon you.
The gods are cruel, I'm afraid. The man you seek is Theos Ix Arcanon, Grand Master of the Leaden Key. One of the most elusive and dangerous men Eora has ever known.
Theos. How do you know I seek Theos?
Because you have seen his face, and that makes it a simple matter for me to see it. You even happened to catch him in his ceremonial garb, it seems. It must have been a special occasion.
What can you tell me about Theos?
More than most, though very few would know so much as his name. And there is no way of knowing how much of what I've read is true. The Leaden Key dates back more than 2,000 years. If rumors are to be believed, Theos was the one who created it.
Oh, wow, okay.
What scraps of evidence exist suggest that he has died many times, only to be reborn each time exactly the same man, awakened during adolescence with all the knowledge and experience of all his lifetimes. The plots he orchestrates sometimes take hundreds of years to bear fruit. Needless to say, this is not the natural order of things. But he is said to be one of Woodica's favored, and that old bat was never one to let rules get in the way of favoritism. That may also explain another supposed gift of his. His body is no boundary to his soul, and he is known to take possession of others, if their souls are weak enough. Often it is for elaborate deceptions, but sometimes he simply forces them to kill themselves. He is not known for his generous supply of pity. He is also not one to show himself in any but their most critical matters. If he has directly involved himself in whatever the group plots now, it may be your only chance to find him. And once you do find him, if you can find him, I would not hold my hopes too high if I were you. He is a driven, single-minded man. He will not have the slightest concern for your problems.
How did you know so much about Theos?
The same way I come by all my knowledge. Exhaustive research, spying, bribery, perhaps some less savory measures. Whatever the knowledge demands, I pay in full. There is nothing of greater value. Unfortunately, with Theos, there is also nothing more scarce. He has covered his tracks far too well. His manipulations of the course of history are lost to time now, though I believe they were many.
She looks down at her hand, rubbing at an old scar. Interesting. Okay. What else is there to know about the leaden key?
Precious little, I'm afraid. You may know much of it already. No one member knows the identity of more than a handful of other members. They are kept in the dark of missions they are not involved in, or sometimes of those they are involved in. They exist to hide secrets they themselves don't know, if you can imagine how gullible someone must be for that to appeal. Despite that, they are very good at what they do, owing much to their founder, who will take matters into his own hands when necessary. And he does not fail.
I have other questions.
Yes?
Tell me more about Dunred Row.
All the things there are to know in this world, and you ask me about work. Deerwood is a rebel country. Conflict is in its blood. If you think a few guards posted in our cities keep chaos at bay, you are very new to town indeed.
She shakes her head irritably.
We are Deerwood's Cipher investigators, of course. But what we really are is its last barrier against anarchy. People are more at ease when they believe they are watched over by someone more enlightened than they are. It pacifies them. So that is the image we foster. And we do try to be enlightened for their sake. The knowledge we gather here is Deerwood's standing army in many ways. We learn what's vital and we act on it while Deerwood sleeps, blissfully unaware of the terrifying truths all around them. I wish I could tell people the things I know sometimes. But the truth is, I don't think many of them could bear it.
How did you come to be here?
Me? I started this place, in a different time, under a different Duke. I impressed the Duke with my research and my work ethic, and he became possessed of the notion that I would be ideal to lead a secret network of gifted investigators. I don't know how such an idea got into his head.
She winks. Yeah, those ciphers, you can't trust them, eh? How old are you? She gives a half-hearted gasp and covers her mouth with her crumpled fingers. You wicked man. Where are your manners? Were you raised without a shred of decency?
I lost count ages ago. Such a strange thing to celebrate, getting closer to death. Oh, I've had my share of work done to prolong my existence, if that's what you're wondering. I'm not ashamed of it. I'm not done here. There are things I still wish to learn. And I'll be the effigy if I let Bereth carry me off before I'm through.
She drops that earlier facade before she started saying all this, of course.
There was a time when I considered enlisting the theorems of Pondgrum to extend my life indefinitely. I found the thought of devouring my political enemies to sustain my own life greatly appealing. I must have gone soft with age.
Didn't I find the theorems of Pondgrum? Give them to some other animancer? Anyway. Are you psychic?
If you are hoping I can look at your hand and tell you whom you should marry, you can just wipe that notion from your mind. I do not know what will happen tomorrow. That is what I pay spies for. Being a Cipher is not unlike being a watcher. You notice more about what is already there.
True.
Many can hold an object and know where it's been, or peer into the thoughts of people around them. They can also sometimes affect those thoughts, but that would be unethical, of course. A tiny, talented few pick up so much about the world around them, they can get images of things to come, but these are fleeting and unreliable.
She cocks a painted eyebrow. You said you don't know what will happen tomorrow.
Who said I was talented? I don't. Least not that I can trust. And with me, it's only ever about one thing anyway.
And what's that?
A quiet day at home.
She glances back behind her toward a small table, and a queer smile finds its way across her face. Is there a Lord Webb?
There was.
What happened to him?
He believed in dying with dignity. He was old-fashioned that way, my husband. We saw the world very differently, he and I. But he was good to me while he lasted.
All right, let's talk about something else. She looks at you expectantly. Yeah, what do you want from me?
Keep me informed. The Leaden Key has been busy lately, and that is distressing news. I can only guess as to what they intend. You seem to have a knack for turning the stones they've crawled beneath. Keep turning them. Dunreed Row will not stop you.
Okay.
Whatever it is they're up to, figuring it out will be of great use to both of us. In your case, it will surely point you to Theos. In return, I will share our knowledge with you as we learn it, and provide you with what assistance I can.
And if I refuse?
Then you would look foolish because it is a standing offer. There is no need to refuse.
Okay.
If you find your trail has run cold, come to me with whatever you have. There is much I may be able to do for you.
All right.
Yes?
Well, there is something I can tell you about the Leaden Key's operations.
Well, let's hear it.
Never mind.
You mustn't play with a woman's heart like that.
All right, no, I'll tell you. I found Theos in Brackenbury Sanitarium impersonating a patient, or at least I'm pretty sure it was him now, from what you've told me. He was trying to damage the public's opinion of animancy.
Forgive me, it is unlike Theos to leave witnesses. He must be furious.
Her eyebrows raise, two painted lines over barren, sloughing skin. Her forehead a lattice of wrinkles upon wrinkles. The corner of her mouth perks.
He did not aid you as you'd hoped, I take it? Well, take heart. With any luck, when he has finished his business, he will surely come and find you again, if only to kill you while you sleep. This news of yours makes sense, of course. To dabble in animancy is to puzzle over the secrets of the gods. This would not be the Leaden Key's first action against it. But if this is connected to their other activities, we may be in for something on a much larger scale. If we can learn more about their goals and methods, perhaps we can get the palace behind us. With Avar's support, we may be able to put a stop to this.
That's the current Duke of Defiance Bay, isn't it? All right, well, that's all for the moment. This progress is encouraging. I only hope that we are not too late. Yes.
Yes?
Okay, well,
You mustn't play with a woman's heart like that.
that's all. Farewell, Lady Webb.
Try your best not to die out there.
Always. Cool.
How fares your search?
Nothing new to
Right.
report. Well, that's Dunred Row. I guess we can leave now. And we've now just got a standing quest to inform Lady Webb of what's going on with the leaden key. So I've been summoned to Dunwood Road by Lady Webb, a reclusive woman who seems to know more about me than I know about her. And Lady Webb has asked me to keep her informed anytime I learn about the leaden key's activities in Deerwood. Anything I can discover in pursuing the leads I obtained in the catacombs of the Woodkin Church would be useful to her. After having run across Theos in Brackenbury Sanitarium, I let Lady Webb know that he seemed to be trying to destroy the reputations of animancers. So I've still got to do this one in the Deerford Village through Death's Gate, and also Undying Heritage in Heritage Hill, which I think we'll probably do next, given that's in Defiance Bay, which is where we are at the moment. So it just makes the most sense from a logistics point of view. But may as well, actually, I wonder if I can speak to Curran now.
Gods keep you.
I was wondering if he would have anything to say now that we've spoken to Lady Webb. But I guess not. Anyway. Alright.
Hey, Olaf, can I, talk to your, your friend?
What is it about Isilmir? I'm right here, you know.
No, you're both great. It's just, well, I feel like I don't get to spend as much time with her, and she's just so funny. I mean, some of the things she says
Are not nearly as funny when you've been hearing them for 50 years.
Alright. Okay. Well, I think we'll leave it there. As always, thank you for joining me. If you're enjoying the campaign, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, so you can stay up to date and keep in tune for the next episode when it comes out next week. And yeah, until then, I'll see you next time. As always, take care and have fun.